In today's news, consent or court order needed for DNA collection in newly passed police bill. Well, Penn questions exorbitant spending by Premier's office, Alleges slush fund. Man and woman charged in connection to the murder of Yan Edwards, and HLSCC's Career Fair a success. Viewers, these are more stories when 284 News return. Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I got here. My name is Kamal Haynes. Most of you know me from 284 News, but now you get to see me in a different light on my very own show called Health is Wealth. We have Joel Turnbull.
I don't want you to arch your back when you're pulling down.
Milton McLean.
First of all, right, your footwork.
Stephen Payne.
That was a 9 out of 10. I know you got the service down pat.
Steve Augustine.
You did a pretty hard workout today, so perhaps...
And as you can see, it's actually
you're
impacting
feeling
me.
Lonzo Boynes.
Taekwondo.
Adam Murrows.
I'll speak as if you're an absolute beginner.
I am an absolute beginner.
You are an absolute beginner.
And Seth Graham.
It bites.
It will bite.
Get your water, get your fruits and veggies, and experience a wealth of knowledge about getting healthy.
There are many ways to enjoy life, like so many ways to count on Popular.
Welcome viewers to the Friday, March 10th edition of 284 News. I am Kamal Haynes, bringing you the latest out of the British Virgin Islands. While leading today's news, the Police Act 2023 has been passed in the House of Assembly, and once assented to, will set out the legal procedures to be used by the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force when collecting DNA samples from persons suspected of being involved in arrestable offences. A mover of the bill, Premier Dr. the Honourable Natalia Wheatley, highlighted the new additions which will amend the Police Act Revised Edition 2013.
In the newest edition of the bill, consent must be given in order to take or record an intimate sample. In the event where a person refuses to consent to the taking of his or her intimate sample, a member of the force may take an intimate sample without the consent of such person after obtaining an order providing for an intimate sample to be taken signed by a magistrate or a judge of the High Court. This request must be made in writing by a member of the force, and it should state the offense being investigated and detail the grounds for believing that the person from whom the intimate sample is sought is involved in an arrestable offense. The written request must also state how the officer making the request believes that the intimate sample will prove or disprove the involvement of the person from whom the intimate sample is sought in the arrestable offense being investigated. When order has been granted for the taking of an intimate sample, or where consent is given, the sample may be taken only by a registered medical practitioner or nurse, except in the case of a sample of urine or buccal swab. In the event that a person from whom an intimate sample is taken is acquitted, not charged, or is charged but the prosecution does not proceed with the charge, or the proceedings are discontinued, the intimate sample shall be destroyed in the presence of a gazetted officer or inspector. Under the proposed bill, an intimate sample shall not be taken from a child unless consent has been obtained from the parent or guardian of the child, or an order of the court authorizing the taking of a sample from the child is obtained.
Well, the Premier noted that while the police will now have the authority to collect intimate DNA samples, it must be done in accordance with the law, or those in breach will have to account for their actions.
They must justify their reasoning and illustrate that it is of sound judgment, that it is fair, and that it is sensible. Part 8 of the bill provides for the discipline of police officers. The powers of police officers are not absolute or above the law itself. The powers granted in the bill are to aid with the enforcing of the law and to enable officers to better prevent criminal activity, which continues to plague our community. If any officer should use these powers for anything but that purpose, they will be committing an offense and will be held accountable for such.
Well, Premier Wheatley said the previous Police Act 2023 was removed from the order paper last week due to the many concerns raised by members of the public, but highlighted the importance of having this specific version returned to the House of Assembly.
What we've done instead is we've amended the Principal Act just to allow for the taking of intimate samples, which we have been informed by the police will help us in the prosecution and in the investigations of crimes, including unsolved murders. And it will also assist with rape cases. So we have limited this amendment to that provision.
Premier Wheatley said a further modernization of the Police Act will return to the House of Assembly at a future sitting. Well, viewers, moving on, where Honorable Marlon Penn has questioned how the Andrew Foy-led VIP administration managed to fund exorbitant assistance grants programs while failing to make necessary investments in various infrastructural projects due to a lack of government funding. With this, he asked while debating the contents of the Internal Audit Department's report on Government Assistance Grants Program from January 2019 to May 2022. For more in this report.
Minister for Social Development Honorable Marlon Penn rose during debates on the Internal Audit Department's report on the government's assistance grants programs January 2019 to May 2023 to share his concerns surrounding the source of funds used to support the program's expenses, which have been valued at a total of $22,939,333.07. As he posed the question to the House, he opened for Premier Dr. the Honorable Natalia Wheatley to provide some clarity.
And I'm even more concerned now. If these are new monies and not additional money that were used from the Fishing and Farmers Grant, $40 million grant that was gotten from social development. Premier, you correct that, Premier, if I'm wrong, if I'm mistaken. Hello, you could, I yield.
Just a point of information, this assistance grant audit is looking at monies which were budgeted through the budgeting process.
Okay.
Allocated to Ministry of Education for assistance grants, Ministry of Communications and Works, House of Assembly, and the Premier's office. I don't think the Ministry of Health was a focus in this audit. But the COVID-19 grant programs, that's a separate audit that was done.
While he accepted that such insight and perspective as provided by the Premier is important, Penn rose again to express heightened concerns surrounding the level of spending that took place.
And it makes me even more concerned. So this is additional monies, additional $22 million on top of the $40 million that was spent on the COVID-19 relief grant. That's $62 million of public funds.
In this respect, he also reflected on the large amount of money spent by the Premier's office alone.
The Premier's office alone administered $10.7 million. Million with an M. According to the leader of the opposition. One office alone, 47% of the grants were administered through the Premier's office. 47%. Then you had the Ministry of Communications, Ministry of Education, House of Assembly, with all 13 members. The Premier's office alone administered 47%. One man. And when people say that was a one-man show, everybody jump up and start to make noise.
While he noted that a grant fund in the Premier's office was not new, as it had existed under administrations predating the Andrew Foy-led VIP government elected in 2019, Penn stressed that such levels of spending had not been seen previously.
Madam Speaker, in 2017, the same Premier's office had a grant fund of $42,000. In 2018, and we know that's coming off of hurricanes of 2017. Of course, you'll need a little more money to be able to assist persons who are transitioning and going through a difficult time. That fund raised to $72,000. 76,000. $76.9 thousand. Madam Speaker, you want to guess how much it raised to in 2019? After you had a change in government, a new administration took office, what that jumped from 2018, $76,000. Anyone take a guess? No guess? No takers? Madam Speaker, from 2018 to 2019, that jumped to $2.4 million. Imagine that.
Further, he questioned how the funds allocated to this assistance grants program could repeatedly multiply as Virgin Islanders are told that the government has no money to address important infrastructural works.
It jumped to $4.8 million, doubled. That's why I was under the assumption that this was COVID money, the grant money. To know that this was budgeted money, when we're struggling to find monies to do infrastructural work in this country, struggling to find money to fix the schools, saying that there's no money for the sewage problems of this country and in this community. I remember the member for the 3rd, budget after budget, complaining bitterly about the Board Point plant and the sewage outflow that inundated his constituency. And every standing finance, the discussion was, we don't have no money. We ain't got no money. There's no money in the budget. Right? But you could jump from 76,000 to 2.4 in 2019, and in 2022, 4.8, 100% increase.
He said that the events as they unfolded begged the question of whether the Premier was using the assistance grants monies as a slush fund.
It leads one to make informed opinions or draw the conclusion that this was being used as a slush fund. So the innocent students who needed assistance for their education funds, who needed support to go to school and do other things, there were some legitimate needs for persons who had financial hardship and different concerns. Nothing for the infrastructural work. The roads in East End and Long Look, the worst you've ever seen. I heard the minister talk about 2 roads that he fixed up there, and he little list. Yeah? 2 roads because you had to literally call him everything but a child of God in cabinet the other day to fix the one by Max. To get that fixed, that road that was so bad, where the well was running into the road, literally had to come to blows to get that fixed. In a bridge up Paramtown, that if a bicycle rode to her, it would have fallen, it would have collapsed. Well, one man had a slush fund of 11 point something million, 10 point, I don't want to misrepresent, of $10,717,262.59.
Oxford Dictionary defines a slush fund as a term typically used to describe a reserve of money used for illicit purposes. It is often associated with acts of political bribery. For 284 News, I am Jacka Wooding.
Well, up next, 2 charged in connection with the murder of Jan Edwards. HLSCC's Career Fair a success, and Ron Potter to be appointed next chairman of the BVI Health Services Authority board. Well, these stories after a word from our sponsors.
Rashford made it. Manchester United have come from behind to lead.
At home or on the go, watch CCT Live. Download our app and carry your favorite TV shows, news, or live sports anywhere you go. Visit cctvvi.com/live, select your package, and tune in.
Is that my lunch? Is that my lunch?
We're like the coworker that doesn't eat your lunch.
I'm John. I'm John.
CG Insurance. Good like that.
There are many ways to enjoy life, like so many ways to count on Popular.
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I got here. My name is Kamal Haynes. Most of you know me from 284 News, but now you get to see me in a different light on my very own show called Health is Wealth. We have Joel Turnbull.
I don't want you to arch your back when you're pulling down.
Milton McLean.
First of all, right, your footwork.
Stephen Payne.
That was a 9 out of 10. I know you got the service down pat.
Steve Augustine.
You did a pretty hard workout today, so
And
perhaps
as you can see, it's actually
you're
impacting
feeling
my
it.
Alonzo Boynes.
taekwondo.
Adam Murrows.
I'll speak as if you're an absolute beginner.
I am an absolute.
You are an absolute beginner.
And Seth Graham.
It bites. It will bite.
Get your water, get your fruits and veggies, and experience a wealth of knowledge about getting healthy. Welcome back, viewers. Moving on to our news story where a man and a woman have been charged and granted bail in connection with the murder of Jan Edwards. But this is according to a media release by the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force on Thursday, March 9th, which revealed the identities of the two persons as 60-year-old Rowan Arlington Pickering and 34-year-old Miriam Kimberly May. But Pickering and May, who are both residents of Longlook, were each charged with one count of perverting the course of justice, while May was slapped with an additional charge of giving false information to police officers. But the two were granted $5,000 bail and are to appear before the Magistrates Court on April 20th, 2023, where Edwards was fatally shot and pronounced dead outside a business establishment in Parham Town on February 6, 2023. At the time of the fatal shooting, he was reported to be seated outside the said business place. But the police are continuing to appeal to witnesses who could identify the assailant or assailants in Edwards' murder. But this can be done anonymously through their Crime Stoppers hotline at 1-284-800-8477. Well, the Alleges Stoke Community College recently held a career fair for its students, an initiative that was deemed by many as a major success. Where the event had a presence of many businesses from across the territory in sectors including tourism, the financial services industry, construction, telecommunications, government and statutory institutions, and the marine industry. The Director of Student Affairs at the college, Miss Andrea Ham, highlighted the importance of having such an initiative in the territory, stating that it will assist many students in taking their final steps in the world of work. The Director of Human Resources Manager within the Department of Human Resources for the Government of the Virgin Islands, Cara Christopher, said her department was elated to be present at the event to play their part.
HR is very, very excited and happy to be here. This will be our second career fair within the last maybe 3 weeks. And so we're happy that we're making our presence known within the community and to the young persons getting ready to enter the workforce. We really thought it was very important as the largest employer in the territory to have this presence. We have a number of entry-level positions that we are currently recruiting for. And we're also heavily involved with the development of students and young persons alike in developing their resume. We sat on the mock interviews today, so it was a great opportunity to let the students know what we're looking for.
Well, Chief Surveyor within the Land and Survey Department, Mrs. Keisha Hoda Lopez, educated a number of students on the many career paths her department has to offer. She said while jobs within her profession may not be as well known in the BVI, opportunities such as the college's Career Day helps in advocating the available jobs.
We are involved in projects from beginning to end. All right, so for example, this is some of the maps that we will produce at the surveying department. All right, it's an aerial with the property boundaries overlaid. All right, this is just a sample. All right, and actually shows you a property that's encroaching here. All right, so this is just a sample of the work that we do. But there are many different aspects of surveying. There's photogrammetry, engineering surveying, cartography, you name it. We basically involved in any project from beginning to end.
And how has the feedback been so far as it relates to students' interest in this particular career path?
Well, this is a problem that we've been having over the years, that there's because surveying is such a career that is not many people know about or not many people are interested in. Our feedback, even from Elmore Stout Career Day, was very low. But nonetheless, there are individuals who are interested in the field as a profession, and it starts with the simplest, with smallest spark. So who knows, one day many of them, even though they might not be interested in surveying right now, might develop a passion for it as they grow older.
Well, Chief Executive Officer of the Recovery and Development Agency, Mr. Anthony McMaster, was also present at the event to speak on the RDA's involvement.
For us, it's quite simple. The RDA has 3 mandates. Capacity building being one, fundraising, of course, and implementing projects. So this falls as part of our capacity building exercises and the opportunities that we're able to offer interns for young people, or even older people who have been in a job market for quite a while and who wants an opportunity to actually see how things are done at a different level. And what is beautiful about the partnership with HLSCC is that it allows us to partner with not just HLSCC but also other organizations. And as I've been walking through here, I realize that the whole beauty about this is that the different organizations that are here are also offering internships. So it's not just about a job that will give you the finished product for somebody who have totally finished school and their training and now want to get into the work arena. The fact that all the organizations are offering internships, then it helps persons who are going through the college system, whether it is here in the BVI, it's overseas, or even persons who are considering going to college, coming out of high school and considering going to college, to give them exposure into the different areas of the job market.
We also spoke to a number of students, including Jaquim Thomas, who studies computer science. Well, he spoke on his experience at the career fair.
I do computer information systems, which is basically like IT, software, networking. At the career fair, although there has not been much like openings for my position, I do enjoy seeing everything that they're doing to try show the careers for everyone. My personality is kind of out there, so I don't say that I would only do technical stuff. I am a multi-talented person, so it's great to see all the career possibilities available to me.
But also speaking on their experience was student Caden Foy, who described the career fair as a great experience.
This was actually very amazing. The initiatives and the companies that came out today, shout out to you guys. It was very, very good initiative to do. I find that they targeted college students, which is so great. You get to have that experience as soon as you graduate out of college. What I find great is that if you're interested in studying abroad or away, what I find is that even though you're working for a job for them, they have the funding or the capabilities of sending you away to a different college or university of your choice, to which you then come back and then work for them. So you get that kind of job security, if you know what I'm saying. You get that relatability and you get that reliability.
Ron Potter is set to be appointed as the next chairman of the BVI Health Services Authority Board. Well, this was confirmed in the order paper for the current sitting of the House of Assembly, which revealed that the appointment will span a period of 3 years from the March 15, 2023 commencement date. Potter's selection to be appointed comes from a joint collaborative effort of the Minister of Health and Social Development, Honorable Marlon Penn, who in consultation with the opposition leader, Honorable Julian Fraser, recommended him to the Cabinet of the Virgin Islands. Potter, who is a director of the BVI Health Services Authority, will replace current chairman Aleyah Smith Jr., who took up the mantle back in July 2021. It is expected that his appointment will be made official in the House of Assembly sometime today. Well, viewers, up next, Coach Cass, recognized for her long career in football in the territory, as well as Aleyah Smith, shares her journey at the New York Fashion Week. With these stories, when 284 News return.
Hun, it's asking for your password.
Huh?
You were logged out. I need the password.
BR.
What's the rest?
BRANDI, the number 4, EVER?
Who's Brandy?
We're like the password that isn't your ex-girlfriend's name. CG Insurance. Good like that.
I should have changed it.
You should have.
You're right.
Is someone gonna get that?
Hello.
Hello.
So nice of you to have cleaned up for us. Hi, baby.
We're like in-laws that don't show up unannounced.
Don't worry. I've got this.
CG Insurance. Good like that.
Welcome back, viewers. Well, the BVI Football Association Women's Committee has done good on its promise to erect a billboard depicting Cassandra Coach Cass Gregg in honor of her 30 years of dedication to the football in the British Virgin Islands. Well, the billboard is present outside of the multipurpose sports complex in Rotown along the James Walter Francis Highway. In addition to noting the unwavering commitment and dedication of Coach Cass in her effort to empower and develop football in the territory, the billboard also makes it known that it is her hope to have 100 women in football by the end of the year. Well, Coach Cass and her team facilitated a training session on Saturday, and they do that as well on every Saturday, that is, at the Greenland Stadium in East End. But the program has seen an encouraging response thus far. Well, moving on to our next story, viewers, where Virgin Islander Miss Aleyah Smith has been making waves within the cosmetology industry and was recently featured as a cosmetologist at the New York Fashion Week. But the 22-year-old creative recently spoke to our Ron Grant on her journey thus far.
I'm currently at Palm Mitchell, the school, Atlanta, getting my certification as a master cosmetologist, where I'll be getting my license. But my journey with hair started when I was around 11. I'll be in and out the salons every weekend with my dad. And they would have the mannequin heads around, and I would just pick them up and I would start mimicking whatever I see the hairstylist doing, started practicing. From there, it grew to me practicing on my own hair, then doing friends, family, and then it grew to one of my friends encouraging me to make a public platform, which I then started Fine Touch by Aleyah, is my hair brand, and it grew from there.
Well, viewers, that full interview of Aleyah Smith can be viewed on all 284 media platforms. And moving on to our final story, viewers, we're in relation to the upcoming general elections. Supervisor of Election, Ms. Sherry Griffin, when asked, stated the measures in place regarding the conduct of code of candidates as well as residents in the upcoming general elections.
Within the Elections Act, and particularly the Code of Conduct, it speaks to how the political parties and their supporters and the candidates are supposed to conduct themselves during campaigning, as well as activities leading up to election and on election day. With respect to any banners and the like, they are supposed to be taken down before midnight, the night before of election. With respect to rallies and so forth, persons are encouraged to refrain from defamatory statements.
While we are out of time, that's all we have for today's news roundup. Be sure to follow us for daily news updates at 284media.com and like us on Facebook at 284media and 284BVI on Instagram and Twitter. I'm Kamal Haynes. Have a safe and enjoyable weekend. Bye-bye.